I call Raymond Ho.
Mr. Chair, debates like this are primarily about Crown accounts. When we're talking about accounts, the most effective way is to show the actual numbers or by way of graphics. So in that vein, Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer my contribution by showing two cartoons from the Auckland Chinese media to illustrate the point. The point that the artist and the ethnic media try to make is that while Prime Minister John Key has maintained his beaming smile since taking office, his standing within the Kiwi Asian community has changed dramatically. Coincidentally, those cartoons accurately illustrated the points I want to make in relation to this debate. So this is cartoon one, which was published shortly after the 2008 general election. As you can tell from the scoreboard, it was National 1 and Labour 0. This cartoon shows the approachable, energetic and triumphant Mr. John Key becoming New Zealand's Prime Minister with an array of promises he will fulfill. Prime Minister John Key laps up the rounds of applause from the majority of the Kiwi. Good on them. And the second one is published in early 2010. This cartoon shows the same approachable, energetic and triumphant Prime Minister John Key. However, the weight of his promises are becoming unbalanced. Tax cuts for the top income earners outweigh the gains made by lower income earners. The rounds of applause now only echo out from the privileged few who can afford, as a cartoon would typically shows, who can afford giant diamond rings. So the title the artist gave to the cartoon was Step Forward for the Super Rich or Tiptoe for the Middle and the Low Income Earners. And that explains why Labour's the tax campaign struck a chord with the general public. I was at the launch in Auckland and also in Christchurch last week. Engaging with the ordinary Kiwis, one cannot help but ask what on earth this national-led government has been doing to help the ordinary New Zealanders. More GST means higher prices, and a new one voted for an increase in GST. 15% increase in GST means 20% more tax on the basics. Cost of living is already an issue, and higher GST will just make it worse. Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Alan Bollard indicated to Parliament's Finance and Expenditure Select Committee recently that he agreed that an increase in GST to 15% would add 2% to inflation and living costs. Based on the Reserve Bank's own forecasts in the recent monetary policy statement, this means that with the introduction of GST, inflation is likely to outstrip wage growth, while the labour cost index currently looking to just remain steady with inflation without any additional inflationary pressures such as a rise in GST. And it's not just the impact of GST and the nationals' money go round. Most people get a GST rise and a small change, while the big cuts go to a few at the top. This will certainly raise a huge issue of equity. The second issue I picked up while campaigning is the uncertainty in relation to the possible change to other aspects of the tax system. National have indicated that they may remove depreciation from buildings. This reduction in income to landlords will flow roughly as an increase in rent, possibly as high as $45 a week. This is on top of GST increases, inflation, minimum wage growth, job insecurity, and rising power prices. With regard to another issue of how to catch up with Australia, as I argued in this House before, that focusing on the bottom 50, not the top 5, is more sensible. I borrowed the idea from my friend Keith Ng. His research shows that New Zealand's tax system is less progressive than Australia's. That is, higher income earners in Australia pay more tax both proportionally and in absolute terms. In New Zealand, the total income earned by bottom 50% of Mr. Chair.
Um,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Craig Foss.